we even start, press that subscribe button. Trust me, you'll want to stick around. This is Who Said What, where my sister Nira and I dive into life, culture, and the things that people think but don't say out loud. She overshares, I think before I speak, most of the time. We've lived all over. Egypt, the US, Dubai, Europe, so we've seen the best and worst of everything. Relationships, careers, family chaos, and unspoken rules that make absolutely no sense. No fluff here, no filters, just real talk, occasional wisdom, and a lot of, did we really just say that moments? Now let's get into it. Hi everyone, we're back today with a new episode. Nira and I are talking, we're getting right into the sister talk. Maybe sister argument today. Let's see what happens. Today we're talking about something that...
Heba's very sensitive about the subject. So am I.
Oh.
So am I.
Oh my God, you're the most...
So am I.
Fine.
So am I.
This is a topic that we're talking about because we seem to argue about it all the time and bicker about
Yes, we do.
all the time on the podcast. I don't get why. Anyways, we're talking about introverts versus extroverts.
Yes.
Yes, and we don't agree.
Well, no, we don't. It's not that we don't agree. You label me as a full-on extrovert, and label yourself as a full-on introvert. Whereas, I think, but like when I was doing the research, that most of us are both. Just one trait is more dominant than the other.
Okay, so which trait do you think is dominant, or should we just define ourselves first, or define introverted versus extroverted? Let me tell you what.
Heba categorized me already. She put, Nira, loves socializing.
No. You don't. We're not reading off of the thing.
Okay.
We're talking about the definition. We don't need to read that at all.
Okay.
You can talk about introvert versus extrovert.
All
Let's
right.
talk about define them first. Define extrovert. Do you have a definition of it? Because you said you researched.
Yes, I do.
Go ahead.
Extroversion, they say sociability, talkativeness, high energy. Introversion, introspection, reserved preference to solitary activities. That's the definition by Carl Jung, who is the one who basically
and based on that definition, what do you see yourself more leaning towards? More leaning towards?
No, I lean more towards being an extrovert. But I
That's
do
it.
not...
Okay, full stop. End of episode.
No, I say no. But I do not flourish in large social settings. I do not.
Okay. Can I tell you something?
On the contrary, I actually... No, because one of the things it says, Heba, one of the things it says actually was that... extroverts, what's it called? Take pleasure in activities that involve large social gatherings. I do not like large social gatherings.
Okay, let me tell you something. I'm going to give you my definition of introvert and extrovert.
Okay.
They're probably the same because it's Google definition. It's not my definition of it, right? And
mine was Wikipedia, but that's too nice.
Okay. But what I'm saying is that I agree with you. There's introversion, extroversion on extreme levels, right?
Yeah, of course.
I know some people that are extremely introverted, way more introverted than me. And I know people extroverted, way more extroverted than you.
Yeah, of course.
There is a spectrum there. But yes, that's the issue I'm talking about. That's the thing I'm telling you about. Because, Anna, for me, the introverted is not, I didn't say everybody has a bit of introverted and everybody has a bit of extroverted.
Of course.
But what I'm saying is when you label yourself as introverted, to me that's wrong. Because I wouldn't label you as an introvert. Okay,
Agreed.
let's define. I'm gonna tell you my definition. Okay, basically, as I see introverts, it's about energy, right? It's how you expend your energy and how you preserve your energy. I think that's what it is, being an introvert versus an extrovert.
I don't think so, but okay.
No, it's not about agreement. I'm telling you about the definition. That's what people are talking about. It's how you expend your energy and how you preserve your energy. It's what makes you an introvert versus an extrovert, okay?
Fine.
But what I'm saying is that basically introverts are generally better in small groups. Like, they prefer small groups over big groups, okay?
Okay.
The emotional expression, the way they communicate, they think before they speak. They're much better at writing and expressing themselves in writing versus communication, verbal communication, okay?
Okay.
Definitely, yes, they tend to thrive more in smaller settings, and whereas extroverts in bigger settings. Not exclusively, okay?
Okay.
Work preference, I prefer to work as a freelance. Let's say, for example, when I was working at TBS, well, I'm not going to use example. I'm talking about general terms now. Work preference, they thrive better in independent and smaller work settings. Extroverts are better they're like in teams and working in companies, perhaps corporate, that kind of thing, okay? response to stimulation can feel drained. Introverts feel drained by excessive social interaction or external stimuli, okay? They can be seen as more reserved. They are more reflective and cautious. These are things that I relate to for me, okay? Extroverts are more engaging, speaking to people. They're more of a they're very good conversationalists. They can just talk, they can basically talk about anything. Like anybody who talks to you about something, you can engage in that conversation, okay? You openly share thoughts and feelings. You're more spontaneous, okay? You're better in team-oriented settings. Okay, this is one I said. You talk about your feelings easily and spontaneously, okay? The other thing is, one thing I said, this was my take on it. Introverts get along very well with extroverts. Introverts like to be with extroverts in social... those are the definitions, okay? Broad definitions, right?
Broad definitions.
When I go out, let's say I have a very introverted friend. When we go out with each other, we're sitting on the sofa. Let's say if it's a big social setting, we're sitting on the sofa, we're talking, just me and her. No, we're not really talking to anybody. When I like going out with you because you're an extrovert, because you take me out of my shell, because otherwise I would be sitting on that sofa. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's why I think as an introvert, I like being around you as an extrovert because you're my sister. It makes it easier. But even regular extroverts, sometimes it's easy for me to go out with an extrovert. I have another friend of mine who's very extroverted, and when we go out, we have a nice time because she brings me out of my shell. You see what I mean? But this is how I see it. But definitely, I completely agree with you. There's a spectrum. Okay. Ambiverts to me,
Anna, for me,
people have invented because they're like, I'm introverted, but I have situations where I can be extroverted. No, it's either yes, and maybe it's not so black and white, but I see it more black and white. I can see people, I can understand people that are introverted. I can get people that are extroverted.
Okay,
and I see the difference, and I see there's sometimes, and I think what it is that you see yourself as because you meditate and you like to be alone, but you're human. Nobody likes to be 24/7 in the presence of people. But the thing is that you're more often with people, even if you're not in a party setting. I think you misunderstand that. You always think that I'm thinking you're at the club or at the bar. No, but you're most of the time, majority of the time, you're out. Even if it's with one friend, you go to somebody's house, you go to marché. That to me is socializing. I don't do that very often.
But but I agree. But if you look at the definition of extrovert, and I'm not, and you, of course, you know more about that. So if I'm socializing, if what you deem as socializing, me going over to a friend's house, me going over to Yahya's place.
I didn't say socializing.
No. But you say I socialize even if it's one-on-one. But Anna, for me, you see me when we go out together. You are my crutch. You are my person that makes me feel okay. So I have an easier time socializing. Like the last party we went to, I had an easy time socializing because there was one or two people that I really connect, that I know that I'm very comfortable with.
You were the life of the party. You were the definition of a party.
No, but because it was the first time I'm in a setting with certain people that I see as I walk by them. We walk by each other, we say hi. But it was the first time, like Sarah and a few other people that I don't see in social settings that I've seen in a social setting. So it was like, I'm able to talk about something different. I'm able to not talk about the bakery. Oh, you're on your way to the gym? Let me finish because you talked plenty. So and stuff like that. So and there were a lot of people there that I appreciate them. I enjoy their company. And yeah, I was talking to 10 people maybe, but there was like 50 people I wasn't talking to. Besides the point. But you sometimes rarely see me when I'm out alone without you. And there is one or two of my friends there, and then there's 50 people I don't know. Yeah, and I'll sit on the sofa and be on my phone, and I'll sit and play a game. Literally play a game.
That's called bad manners.
No, it's not bad manners, but I have nothing to talk to anybody about these. I find it easier to communicate, to do small talk with people I don't know at all.
Can I say something?
So I'm not saying...
That to me in itself...
I'm
triggered. We're triggering each other big time. Huh? I'll tell you, that in itself to me is extrovert.
And for me, if I'm going to go to somewhere and I think I'm going to sit there on the sofa and not do anything, I will not go. I will stay home. There's no fucking way.
There's
I'm going to go
not.
out. That's what I'm trying to say.
But the thing is, I don't think I'm going to go sit on a sofa.
I'll leave. If I'm in a situation
sometimes I leave, and sometimes I leave. Sometimes I'm there, but it's with somebody. It's a very, very close friend of mine, but I'm finding it slightly boring, and so I'm not really going to talk about it. So I'm going to sit and I'm not going to really socialize with anything. But a lot of times, and my friends complain about this, that I do what's it called, the French exit, in the middle, the Irish exit, in the middle of a thing after 1 hour.
Why is it called the Irish exit?
I don't know.
Because of the dance?
They call it the Irish, or the Michael Jackson, or the Michael Jackson.
Oh, because of drinking? Oh, okay.
Or the Michael Jackson, or the Michael. They also call it the Michael Jackson, where you kind of moonwalk out of a party. And no, like literally one time I was at this gathering and I said I need to leave. I can't. There were all these people I didn't know, and it was a small gathering. It was like 30 people. There were all these people I didn't know. And I said, there's no fucking way in hell I'm going to stand this thing. And I was kind of talking. Of course, there was a bit of tension because of a certain situation. And I was kind of like,
What's the situation? What was the situation?
Two of my friends were separated. So they were both there. So there was that tension where you have to sit with this person and then you have to sit with this person and you don't want anybody to feel uncomfortable. And then I had my bag in the middle of the living room. All of a sudden, I took my bag, I put it next to the door. And I'm standing next to the door. But looks at me, she's like, Nira, you're thinking of leaving, aren't you? No, of course
I'm just going to the bathroom.
Of course not. And then all of a sudden everybody was around me. I'm like, now I really can't leave. And then as everybody turned around, I kind of stepped back and I walked out. And I got to the thing and I walked out the wrong door and I locked behind me and I was in the courtyard and the party's right up there. So I'm like Pink Panther. I'm like stuck against the wall so nobody sees me. And I left. And every party I go to that you're not there, everybody's like, where did you go? I'm like, I left. I was bored and I left. I go because I want to.
You a question?
I also want to socialize a little bit because I realize that I have very good friends, but very few friends. And I said, I need to meet new people. But then I get to the place and I see the people. I'm like, yeah, these are the people I want to meet, really, or socialize with because I have nothing in common with them. And I don't know how to make small talk with some people. Like, it's like, I'm just like, yeah, no, I'm completely out right now.
Can I ask you something?
And I do that quite often at certain parties.
Okay.
When you're not there.
That's fine. So can I ask you something? What is it exactly that triggers you when I tell you that you're not introverted? And why do you want to, do you see yourself as introverted? Do you want to be seen as introverted?
No, what triggers me is not when you say you're not an introvert. What triggers me is when you say you're a full-on, the pure definition of an extrovert. I don't think...
And I still think so.
And I think, yes, I'm an extrovert, but there's a lot of things about me that are not an extrovert. A lot.
I agree with that.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying.
Just like if I were to remember you when we were younger, I would say you're a full-on extrovert. Full-on extrovert. You were always the life of the party. You were always the life of the party, and I'm always kind of the person near the stand. When maybe the roles were reversed as we got older.
No, that's what I'm trying to say. Even at that time, I was introverted. Different how you see it. I was very sociable at one point, extremely sociable, because I was always out with my boyfriend or somebody, right? Okay. So there's always that one person I'd go out with, and so I would drink. And therefore, the introversion was out the window.
Like the drinking thing, by the way. And at one point, remember when in my early 20s?
And I stopped going out because of that, because it became an issue where I cannot go out unless I'm drinking. Otherwise, I cannot talk to anybody. So that was before my crutch was alcohol. So for me, it's like now I prefer if I'm going to, and I don't drink now. I rarely drink.
Yeah.
And for me, if I'm going to go out drinking, fine. I'll go out. But if I'm going to go out and I know I'm not going to be drinking, it's rare that I'll go out.
And by the way, and the other thing, like I understand you, but like I feel like you think that I want to be like you. No, I'm not an introvert. I'm not you. You know what I'm saying? I do not get energized by being in large group settings. I don't. This doesn't energize me. And that's like one of the key points of an extrovert, that you get energized by outside sources.
It's not the only key point.
But it's one of them.
Let me give you an example.
It's one of them.
Let me give you an example.
I'm not saying it's all of them.
Yeah, but
and by the way, that party that you're talking about that we were at the other time.
Forget that party.
No, but wait, Heba. Yani, I know we're gonna keep going back and forth, and we're not gonna reach anywhere. And I know it, by the way. But I have to tell you, that party, I was drinking. And I had an issue, and in my early 20s, when we were going out a lot and we were drinking a lot, I became a lot. No, I'm not kidding. I would do 9 shots of tequila and I'm sober. You know what I'm saying? But
I would do 5 and I would be trashed.
but I remember I was very sociable. I was talking to everybody. I would sit and chit chat with everybody. And it upset me, and I stopped drinking because I felt like I needed to drink to have a good time, which to me I didn't appreciate about myself.
Yeah. Deb, can I ask you something?
But that day I was drinking, and so I was really sociable.
That was the last thing we went to. I'm using it as an example. But to me, I cannot shake off the idea that you're anything but an extrovert. To me, let's say, for example, I'll give you an example. Last time we were in Cyprus, right? Okay.
I knew she was going to bring this example.
We were sitting having breakfast. You sat, and this is what I'm trying to tell you. These things that I'm mentioning are not one-offs. They're not one-offs at all.
No, of course not.
You sat there talking to one of the people there in the thing.
Couple,
very nice guy, couple, and a man and his wife. Guys. They were older, right? They were very sweet.
Very nice.
You sat and spoke to them for an hour. Even Dad and Dad's an extrovert. And Dad was like... and he's like, they've been at it, like you spoke for a good 45 minutes. And that's what I'm trying to say. And at that, I would never be caught dead in that street.
No, absolutely.
Not in a bad way.
No. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I thrive at talking to strangers.
That's what I'm saying. That's a key point.
But strangers. But put me in a setting with people I know, and a lot of people I know, and I'm uncomfortable. I won't talk to anybody.
Okay, that's maybe.
I will search out my friends.
Maybe you have social anxiety.
But probably.
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
But somebody who doesn't know me at all, they don't know Nira, they don't know anything about me. That's
a key point of extroverts. Introverts you'll never find an introvert going and talking to somebody. But
for just like parties here where people are all drugged up and stuff like that. I have no desire to talk to anybody because I don't know what to talk to them about.
That's what I'm saying.
I really we're on a different wavelength. There is no depth in the conversation. They're wasted. That's
a different story entirely. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not about introvert versus extrovert. What I'm saying is that you are a conversationalist, and you are somebody who can speak to a stranger very easily and get onto a conversation, deep into a conversation with them for 30 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes to a fucking hour.
I swear. I remember I was talking to them and I'm like, Heba, so I'm going to go back to the table and Heba's going to be like, you see, you're an extrovert. You see, you're an extrovert.
That's what I'm saying. And that's maybe like... And I think that's what it is, because you see yourself as here because you go to sit with somebody, but you're sitting on the sofa not speaking. That doesn't mean that means you're maybe uncomfortable in that situation, whatever it is. But what I'm saying is that an introvert doesn't put themselves in that situation. Okay? And like I said, and I had told you this before, and yes, there were times when you look at me, people think like, wow, you think you're introverted? You're so fucking sociable. But I get very drained. I need a lot of time to decompress, or to like, my energy is very disturbed from being around people, not necessarily in a bad way, but it's disruptive, let's say. Okay. And I think what triggers me about the whole thing, that you say that you're introverted. When you say sometimes you're introverted,
I did not say I'm introverted. I said I'm an extrovert, but I have tendencies of being introverted.
Oh, then I would be, if you said that from the first
time. But I keep saying that.
Yes. No, because when I tell you you're an extrovert, you tell me, no, I'm not extrovert. Because I like to be on my own. Yeah, I know, but an extrovert always likes to be alone at some point. Extroverts are not out all the time 24/7.
But I'm just saying.
Everybody needs to...
I don't like the label of saying, yes, I'm an extrovert, but I don't like...
call yourself an ambivert. Yalla.
No, I'm not saying, I'm not going to call myself an ambivert, but I don't flourish in large social I do not flourish. I flourish one-on-one.
That's 1 out of 12.
And I do not get energized by being in large social settings. I do not wake up the next morning and be like, I had a great time last night. No. Okay, maybe. Anna, for me, I'm an introvert. I find I'm very much of an introvert. When I go out and I party and I hang out with people and I meet strangers sometimes, I wake up the next day, I'm like, I had a fucking blast yesterday. Does that make me not an introvert anymore? I'm more of an introvert. I have tendencies to be extrovert That's the thing. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You're more of an introvert. I'm more of an extrovert. We both have the tendencies to be the opposite.
Then we agree, because that's what I'm trying to say. If you tell me you're an extrovert, I'll be like, no, I'm not an extrovert. I'm more of an introvert. I have tendencies to be sociable, and I can be very extroverted. But I'm at core, I'm an introvert. You're the opposite. That's what I'm saying, but that's why I don't.
No,
that's why
it.
I can get confused and you get annoyed.
I'm not trying to be an introvert. I don't want to be an introvert. I know I'm not. You see what I'm saying? But when you tell me, when I say I like to be alone, those are not traits of an introvert. Okay, I get that, Heba. But it is a bit of a trait of where I want to be alone and I don't want anybody to talk to me and get out of my fucking face because I want to be alone.
I use the word introversion as a life spent defending myself. You use it as a punchline at parties. you know where that's from? I don't have the time nor the inclination.
A few good men.
Right. There you go.
Jack Nicholson.
Yes.
But that's all I'm saying. Like I'm not trying to be you. You know what I'm saying? At all. I'm not trying to be an introvert. I don't want to be.
That's
you know what I'm saying?
No, because I feel like but
I really like, for example, my mornings. I swear to God, if one person talks to me for the first 2-3 hours I'm fucking awake, I'm just like, no, I want to be alone. I want to not talk to anybody. I don't want to hear anybody's voice. I want to be by myself. I really want to. I don't work out like working out with people. Like everybody's like, come join us at the On Track. No. I don't do that. I'm not competitive and I don't want to work out with you people. I don't want to hear your voices. Come on, you can do it. No, go fuck yourself. I know I can do it. I just don't want to do it. I want to sit on the Stairmaster for 40 minutes and not talk to anybody and listen to my meditation and listen to all my stuff and then start my day. I don't start my day properly with a lot of people in my head and a lot of people talking to me. Like, I just don't like it, you know? Like, I run out of the house for a reason before somebody wakes up.
Okay, so let's say...
That's it.
So I kind of agree
but yes, I think I naturally draw in people, but is it because I'm an extrovert or is it because I'm an empath? I don't know, you know what I'm saying? I don't
see you as an empath. Okay, that's not... You're like, what?
What? I feel people... I feel their energy. Like sometimes, like there was this girl today. Oh my God, there's this girl today at the gym. Haram, I feel so bad for her. She's terrified of cats. Full on, she goes into full on shock mode. Shock mode.
What does this have to do with introvert?
She came in, I met her at the gym. Like, okay, stop doing that, Heba. Okay, I'm gonna tell my story and then I'll tell you.
Tell your story.
So Heya, the cat came and she started crying and I'm on the Stairmaster. So I went up to her and I'm just like, okay, this is what I do and this is why people are drawn to me. I'm just like, you need to relax, you need to calm yourself down, breathe, and all of a sudden people were coming around us, like, what's wrong with her? I'm like, there's nothing wrong with her.
As an introvert, I would have been like,
crazy. She was having a full-on panic attack and she started crying. Like,
why did she go to the gym? Egypt, there's cats everywhere.
The problem with the gym at Nedi Gezira is everybody feeds the fucking cats. So all of a sudden you have one cat that has there are 4 kittens now on the thing, and then the cats come into the gym and sit on the machines because everybody's feeding the bloody cats.
Yeah, I don't get that.
So it's for some people it's annoying. No, for some people it's annoying. Some people don't like cats. You know what I'm saying? Yani, if I'm sitting and trying to do yoga and the cat's on my back and they start to scratch you and it becomes annoying, Yani. It's unpleasant.
Very cute and funny.
Well, and it's not cute and funny. This girl full on went into freak out mode and I felt bad for her because it took her 15 minutes to calm herself down.
So what was your point? Was there a point?
So no, in that sense, yes, I'll go up to people that when I feel like they're freaked out or they're
extroverted.
When I feel like they're freaked out and stuff like that, and I'm calm, and I'm in a place where I'm calm, then I want to go help them make sure that they're okay.
Okay.
And then I'll leave. So I made sure she was okay, and then she was breathing okay.
So basically, this is the culmination, this is like an end to our bickering because we kind of agree, right?
Yes.
So you are extroverted
with introvert, and you're
with introverted qualities,
certain qualities, yes.
And I'm introverted, and I have the ability to be social, like extroverted.
I think, definitely in our family,
under the influence of alcohol and Nira.
And I can be an introvert when I'm not under the influence of alcohol in large settings, and there can be one person that makes me uncomfortable, and I'm done. I don't know how to socialize. I can feel it. There's 1 or 2 people in a gathering that I'm really uncomfortable, and I feel their energy, and I'm just like, I need to leave.
I don't feel uncomfortable around people. I never get uncomfortable.
I get uncomfortable.
It's not an actual person. It's just the crowd bothers me. If I'm in a big setting, it bothers me. If I'm at the airport, if it's very crowded, I have panic attacks.
You know, like, and the vibe of the place can sway me introvert or extrovert. Like literally, like sometimes I've been in things where it's my friends, it's their parties, you know, it's their gatherings, and they're my best friends. But I'll be there and I'm just like, I'm not vibing. I'm not vibing with the people here, and I feel yuck.
Can I
want to go home. I want to go home, and I want to be in my room.
I'll tell you something here. I'm telling you, just it doesn't make sense to me. As your sister, it doesn't make sense to define that as being introverted, because it's not about being introverted. It's just that there are times where I'm feeling very sociable, and I go out and I'm like, it's a bit of a dud party.
Yeah.
Everybody has these moments. That's why it's not black or white. There's like shades of gray.
Yeah,
but that's what I'm trying to say. But that's what I'm saying. Inti, for me, you define extroverted. You are the definition of extroverted.
Yeah.
You're the definition of a dinner party. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like,
but
and you have times that you want to be alone.
Yes,
which
exactly.
I get.
Which is the definition of an introvert.
Okay,
that's what I'm saying.
So we agree not to. We agree.
And you are an introvert 80% of the time, and then when you go out and you're drinking and you're having a good time, you are really having a good time. Like you're
thank God.
Like you're like the unstoppable train. It's like I'm just like laissez-moi libre. You know what I'm saying? Have a calm.
But yeah, I'm very proud of myself for that. By the way,
definitely.
I love that.
If I'm not driving and stuff like that, and I can drink and not worry about driving and not worry about getting into an accident or any of these things. I'll have a great time.
Moments where
she was driving at that party the last time, so I could drink to my heart's content.
Those are times where I feel so liberated, because I'm able to be completely honest and say things that I would not say to her. Like if I don't want to hurt somebody's feelings, like if I'm like under the influence, I'll be like, whatever, fuck it. Just like say whatever comes to my mind. So it's great. Okay, so finally, Nira and I have resolved this issue. We've turned the page. So we love each other again. She's extroverted, I'm introverted. She's pure extroverted.
She's pure introverted with moments of extroversion.
And anyways, so if anybody has anything they related to.
What are you? Are you an introvert? Are you an extrovert? Are you an ambivert?
Yeah, ambiverts are cop-outs. Anyways,
if somebody wants to define themselves as an ambivert, that's their prerogative. That's their choice. You know what I'm saying? Maybe
they can do it. Everybody's free to do whatever they want, but I don't have to agree.
Maybe they'll listen to this and be like, "Oh no, I'm mostly an extrovert, but I have introvert moments." Like, who do you think is a pure introvert? Not you, not me.
A friend of mine.
A friend of yours? Somebody that is an extrovert?
Yeah, I know friends that are pure introverts. I have one friend that's very, very much of an introvert.
Well, yeah.
She's a lovely person. I connect with her. Amazing.
Yeah.
We connect one-on-one very well together, because we kind of get that about each other.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm more sociable than her. I have less. She's more introverted than me.
She has more anxiety, I find, than you.
Yeah, I get anxiety, but I don't show it as much, probably.
Yeah.
She has probably more than me. Anyways, okay, so if anybody has any comments, anything they'd like to share...
I'm sure people are all going to say that I'm an
There's
extrovert.
There's going to be Camp Nira and Camp Heba, I'm sure. I'm sure people sympathize with Nira more than me. That was okay. Let me just say one last thing. I'm ended there. This was one thing that was very clear to me growing up, and this is the funny thing, because you say I used to be very sociable. It's true, but you remember that one time we were out, and after like months, you going out with friends and me going out with these friends, but we were going out at different times because we didn't hang out at one point very much together. Me and you, we'd go out together, but not as much. Anyways, so this girl comes up to after. So this girl comes up to me and she's like, I did not know that you're Nira's sister. You're Nira's sister? I said, yeah. She's like, but she's so nice. I was like, that to me said it all. You're the nice, talkative, sweet person, and I was always labeled the cold bitch.
What was it actually? That's one thing I remember reading. They said that, what's it called? Like, I don't enjoy being the center of attention. I don't.
Sometimes I do.
Sometimes you do, but you avoid being the center of attention. That's for sure. But there was that thing that I read somewhere. What did it say? No, we can't.
We're wrapping it up now.
You tend to offend people because you're quiet.
Yes,
introverts,
that's true.
Right?
That's true. A lot of people don't like me because
your aloofness puts people off.
Yes, that's true.
And it's misunderstood.
And I've lost friends. Anyways, so on that note, let us know what you think. Do you want to be an extrovert or introvert? I can't wait to hear comments from people.
Yeah,
okay, until next, we'll see you next week. Bye, guys.
Okay, that's a wrap. If you're still here, you must have enjoyed yourself, so subscribe and leave a review and share this with the one person who needs to hear it. Find us on Instagram for behind the scenes on what's coming next. See you next time, same place, same chaos.